During the colder school holidays, it's time to pull out all of those fun items that you've been hiding in your cupboards unused for most of the year. Winter fun is synonymous with family time, and there's no one better to discuss how to create family fun than our creative parenting expert, Nikki, who just loves having fun. I think from all of the education that you've given us, I think the most important one is to make it fun. And this is an opportunity to do things. You're dressed for winter. I think I'm dressed very poorly for winter. Yes. But just like a child, I also need to be engaged during these colder winter months. And we've got to kind of change our thinking.
We do, because often children are more indoors than outdoors during winter, especially if it's cold, wet, rainy, snowy.
Yeah, which we want at the moment.
Which we do want, yes. So how do we keep them engaged and not glued to a screen 24/7? You know, it's so easy to just say, go watch TV or go and, you know, play on a tablet or whatever, because you know that there are 100 games that they can go and play. But there's so much more to childhood, and we need to make sure that we engage children in a multisensory way, because this is how they learn best.
You know, we talk about educating the child, but it's also a great way for a parent to learn more about their child in a safe place, a way of communicating that's two-way. And when I think of one of the coolest things I can remember doing as a child, puzzle time was so cool. And I have to think that there's got to be educational value to building a puzzle.
Oh, huge educational value. So when we go away for a week during those July, August school holidays, there is always a big puzzle that's packed. So whether, you know, if you've got younger children, you pack a 200-piece puzzle.
You're making me excited at the prospect of building a puzzle.
If you've got older children like I have, it's a 1,000-piece puzzle. And it's actually the thing my mum, myself, and my sons do together. And it gets put out on the dining room table and left out there for 2 or 3 days while everybody comes in and out, fiddles and faffs, does a few pieces, you know, and eventually it gets built. And there's this huge sense of satisfaction. Now, think about puzzles and the educational value of a puzzle. We learn how to find the corners, find the straight pieces. So you're sorting, matching, categorizing all the time. It's problem solving. Now you start building the pieces within the puzzle. So, oh, there's a penguin over there, and there's a rose over there, and there's a mermaid. And you start building all those little cameos, and then you put them together. So it's about together, apart. Figure ground perception, what's in the background, what's in the foreground. Part-whole relationships, and staying the course. Children need a range of puzzles. It's a bit like reading books. You need a wide variety.
It inspires the imagination. It also is a great way to ignite family competition, to discover who's good at what, who's good at the corners, like you say, all of those sorts of things. But just board games in general, they are such a wonderful way to bond and connect and take the edge off for a family, where it can be,
100%.
well, in some cases, unless your family is really, really competitive.
Well, you could be very competitive. So we know the big traditional board games, you know, that have been sold for years, but there's also some really fun ones. So you can have competitive board games, or you can have cooperative board game. Now, this fairy game is one of those cooperative board games where we all play together so that the team wins.
Aww.
So dependent on the age and stage of children, we can do these cooperative or competitive ones. And the great thing about board games is that we learn strategy, we learn to win and lose, to take turns, we learn how to play by the rules. And you know, we don't always like to play by the rules, but let's face it, rules actually do make us safe. Like, we drive on a certain side of the road. We stop at stop streets. You know what I mean? There are certain things we have to do.
We wear our seat belts. Yeah.
So this is a way of teaching children to actually follow basic rules.
I absolutely love that. I'm so glad you mentioned the word safe, because it's an area where you can make mistakes, which we know our children have to do, but in a safe place.
That's right.
I'm absolutely loving this. We're going to delve a bit more into the creative side of playing games. I'm seeing some things that are grabbing my attention. I'm trying to avoid sticking my hand in the gloop that is next to us, but you'll find out what that blue substance is. But we're with Nikki once again a little bit later in the show to continue talking about some fun ways of engaging our child's mind, our body in those colder winter months when we've got to hold ourselves up warm indoors.